It is time. The Copenhagen Major has just went ahead and finished up all of the play-in games. All of the RMRs are done, and we've got all of the teams that are going to be participating, including the 6 potential teams that are going to be receiving their second borderless iteration, along with 6 brand new teams that have never seen a major before. There's a lot to break down. First up, starting with the unfortunate, Imperial went ahead and qualified through the Americas RMR, which is bad for my personal investment in this video right here. It's not terrible because obviously we expected them to make it through, along with Mongols and Cloud9. Those two are also going to be receiving their potential second borderless iteration with Apex, Virtus Pro, and Eternal Fire. All of these teams right here only have one borderless sticker out there, so if Copenhagen comes out with a borderless sticker, these are going to be their second iterations, and it's going to very negatively impact their first iteration and their capsules. Along with that, we've got 6 brand new teams that are going to be making their first appearance. First up, Lin Vision. This is the Chinese team that everyone's going to be watching because obviously Tai Lu has not made it in. Then we've got 9 Pandas, Ecstatic, Amcal, Saw, and Koi. These are all just going to be 5 general teams. Koi is the old movie star riders, but none of these are really too interesting, at least right now. The biggest thing to watch in this area is the fact that the Copenhagen Major officially starts on March 17th, which means we are now in the official time where we could go ahead and see these stickers release, which is something you need to be on your toes about right now, but we're going to be talking about it later in the video. SkinSwap is today's sponsor, and they're also sponsoring you with a free bonus for signing up with the first link in the description. They're the premier place for CSGO and Rust skins, with a massive trading site and a top-of-the-line marketplace, offering you the most competitive rates out there and a massive 40% bonus when you're using that link in the description. Combine that with their top-of-the-line selling feature with many payout options, and their trading feature legitimately taking you just about a minute, and there's no reason not to sign up with that first link in the description. Talking about Paris, we got a couple things to break down. First up, unfortunately, you're not going to be seeing any more of the Greyhound Gaming team. That's because this team is a little bit interesting. It was actually only funded by one person, and they went ahead and missed the major here for Copenhagen. They've just went ahead and disbanded after about 7 years of being in the scene. Therefore, we do have one borderless sticker coming from Paris. It is an option here. It's been relatively cheap the entire time. The biggest thing about this though is I would not just pick it up explicitly right now. It's up about 50% in the short term here just because people like to pump it up. Otherwise though, if we want to talk about Paris as a whole, things are actually looking incredibly good in my personal opinion. Unfortunately, we don't have any data, but we're going to be talking about some very important data in some other areas in just a second. But when we're talking about Paris, we're seeing a lot of great momentum. Unfortunately, we haven't really seemed to push much past that 25-cent price point, but the truth is we're still seeing a very decent amount of growth. I've said it before, I'll say it again. The biggest thing about Paris is it comes down to what's going to be happening with Copenhagen. If we want to look at the Paris stickers, we're really not seeing anything too crazy. A lot of them were within plus or minus 5% in the past week, which is not anything out of the ordinary, especially for something as liquid as Paris. I would actually say it's more of a positive than a negative thing, especially in the current dynamics of the market, but overall, Paris is doing decent. It's just going to depend on the future. Now, we just went ahead and received the data from Stockholm and Antwerp over the past couple of months, and the truth is it's looking absolutely insane. If we want to look at the month of February, even though it's the shortest month throughout the year, everything went up, and I'm not even joking. We can look at legitimately what happened with Stockholm here first up, and you can see right here, the only hollow that did not go up was Gambit, and it only went down very slightly. Nearly every other hollow has seen a massive increase in application numbers. Same goes for the foils, and relatively speaking, same goes for the golds. And if we want to head over to Antwerp, the truth is it gets even crazier. That's because if we want to talk about the glitters, there was actually only one glitter that went down. That's going to be liquid. Eternal Fire and Cloud9 are being excluded because they're zeros, and therefore they didn't track correctly and properly inside of the data. When we're talking about the hollows and golds, every single sticker went up. This is absolutely insane because it shows the current demand that not only Stockholm and Antwerp have, but the overall sticker market, the updates, what it's had for the overall sticker market. People are very in demand for stickers right now, which is a very positive impact not only for Paris, but also Stockholm and Antwerp, obviously, as you can see by the data. Now, honestly speaking, all of this has really come from the update where obviously you can place a 5th sticker and you can place stickers anywhere. But the truth is, when we're looking at a 6-month graph like this for a lot of capsules, it's really good to know that things are still going extremely well inside of this area. The graph does not dictate how the actual application numbers are going, especially when we're looking at a capsule graph right here. And the truth is, I think these are sitting in a much better position than a lot of people are realizing. The problem really comes from Copenhagen and Paris. People are very worried about the market share that Antwerp and Stockholm are going to have after Copenhagen, because if we see Copenhagen come out with a borderless sticker, a lot of people are planning on dumping their Stockholm and Antwerp, which is why their prices are so low. Honestly, I wouldn't be too unexpected to see a very slight increase, especially just right after we see Copenhagen release, if we don't see borderless stickers there, but that's obviously very dependent on Copenhagen, which is what the entire market is virtually sitting at in this moment. Now, talking about the next update we're going to be seeing inside of Counter-Strike 2, it's definitely going to be after the Copenhagen Major, excluding the obvious one where Copenhagen comes in with all the items. We're not going to be seeing any major game updates until then. That's because we're just a little bit too close to the major, less than 2 weeks away. Therefore, when we're talking about content-wise, we're going to be looking after the Copenhagen Major, which means we're already looking at least a month out, because remember, we got to have that sale. That sale is going to definitely be there for probably 2 weeks uninterrupted, in my personal opinion, unless an update comes with that sale. Now, there's 2 big things that are a possibility after the Copenhagen Major. First one is going to be the change of the map pool. We've talked about it, but there's a lot of maps that Valve is seeming to get prepared to get into the game, and the truth is it's a perfect opportunity right after we see the major finish, because teams need time to develop, they need time to go ahead and adjust. This is exactly what we saw for Dust 2 at the end of the Rio major, because Valve wants to give these teams a proper amount of adjustment so they actually have high quality gameplays on this maps and they don't just skip them. However, it's not guaranteed that this update would come just with these maps alone. It's very possible that we could see a brand new operation, a brand new case, whatever you want to think to come along with this. Obviously, that's a little bit of a hopeful outlook on it, but there's definitely a possibility we could see a decent amount of content come in with these brand new maps. It's something that's happened previously. Maybe we see new souvenir packages or new collections come into the game as well. Now, talking about my favorite area of the case market, things are starting to heat up just a little bit. We're just getting a taste of what the possibilities are inside of this area. That's because we're starting to see the very slight development of a lot of these cases starting to go back up in price. If we want to zoom out to the 6-month chart, you can actually see a little bit. All of them are starting to slightly creep upwards on a very good direction, in my personal opinion. Now, coming back into the last 30 days, we really haven't seen too much, just because there is obviously a lot of variation from day to day. The order quality changes and we see a lot of up and downs inside of the market. But the truth is, I honestly really like the way cases are sitting right now. If we want to hop on over to unboxing numbers, you can see that things are still looking consistently great. If we want to look in the past 30 days, we're seeing over 1 million cases unboxed every single day, which is absolutely amazing. If we want to look at the week, we're looking at 8.5 million in the past week, a very nice number there as well. Something quite interesting is a couple big cases that are getting unboxed a ton that are extremely expensive. We've got Chroma 3, Gamma 2, and Spectrum 2. These three cases are getting unboxed at massive rates, almost 500,000 in the past month, which is absolutely crazy when you consider the fact that these cases are so expensive already. It's a very good look for all of rare cases, showing that just because a case gets more expensive doesn't mean the demand completely falls off. I love rare cases in the current moment, and I think it's an area you should definitely check out. Now, honestly, what's going to happen over the next couple of months? Well, if we want to look at the player counts to start, we can see that we are seeing consistent and stable growth. I mean, it's absolutely insane. If we want to look at it, nothing is going on inside of the game over the past couple of weeks, and yet we have still seen a very massive amount of growth. We obviously have Copenhagen on the horizon. Copenhagen is going to be such a different dynamic of what we've seen over the past year that we can't really expect to know what's going to happen because of it. I'll be completely honest in saying I'm a little bit nervous about Copenhagen, just because we don't know if we're going to be seeing bordered or borderless stickers, and there's so many market implications you can't even get into it without specifically knowing, but there's so much potential inside of this area. When we talk about Paris and Copenhagen, there's so many overlaps there that I really hope we don't see borderless stickers, because the implications would be absolutely massive and terrible for so many people, including myself, that are all around investors. But when we're talking about realistic updates over the next month or two, I definitely think there is a strong possibility we see a brand new case, brand new operation, or brand new major content update right after the major. Valve's going to want to keep these people hooked, and right now they've got them on the edge. And finally, we've got a major opportunity right on the horizon. That's going to be because of Copenhagen. Now, obviously, Copenhagen, we don't know exactly what's going to come out for it, but when it does come out, there is a couple big things you can do. First up, if we see borderless stickers, you're going to see a plummet in the market for Stockholm, Antwerp, Paris. Therefore, it might be beneficial to go ahead and sell those off. That's obviously your decision. I'm not telling you what to do. But if we see bordered, it's very possible that we're going to see a run up in price for Stockholm, Antwerp, and Paris. Just think about that, make your decisions, and use them smartly. That's all I got. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I'll be right back.